SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man E. E, how are you doing today?
Hey Bob, hey everybody out there. I'm doing good. Hope you are enjoying your weekend as well. A lot of college hoops to pay attention to, but even after a week off in SimWorld, a lot to pay attention to here as well.
Yeah, with SimWorld U, the men's, they're getting ready to head into their conference tournaments. The women's tournament is almost over, as we've seen Caitlin Clark move on, and they'll
Yeah,
be facing South Carolina. But we have
yep.
no idea. The SimWorld U, I mean, that Kentucky team out there, DJ Wagner, Glory Tate,
hmm
Jameson Johnson, I just don't see anybody beating them. But that's a that's a conversation for another time, E.
It
Uh,
is.
this is Around the Table with E and the Fat Man. That is E, I am the Fat Man. This is the podcast we talk about whatever we want. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some guys that we think were a little bit underutilized this season, but we think that they're probably going to be stars next season in season 3 of SimWorld Prep.
hmm
So, E, give me your first one. Who do you think was underutilized this season, or maybe not necessarily underutilized, but maybe they had to sit back a little bit because there were other
No,
stars on the team that you think will be a star next year?
no, I think I like that you use the word underutilized because the first guy I'm going to talk about, I think that's a fair description of some of his talents, and that's Oliver West out of Tokyo playing for Asia Pacific. And look, he's he's played, and I believe he's started every game for them this season. He's basically their starting point guard, and he's got good point guard skills. He's averaging just under 4 assists a game. Just 16 years old. I think you'll see him come back next year and be a big part of this APAC team, which until their recent 4 game losing skid, they'd gotten back to 500. They were 9-9 until this little losing stretch happened. But back to West. What he hasn't done this year is he hasn't been asked to be very much of a scoring threat, and it's probably for the best that APAC hasn't, Coach Goggins hasn't asked him to do that much because he hasn't shot the ball well at all. 35.6% from the field, just 25% from deep, although he has made 13 this year. But that kind of hints at what I want to get at too, which is that he absolutely does have shooting talent. We've seen it. He's known for that. And I think next year, certainly you don't want to pass up what he can do as a floor general and his passing capabilities. But at the same time, with Devin Fields moved on, who gets all the minutes at shooting guard right now, I think you're going to see Weston a little bit more of a combo role. Maybe even grow a little bit bigger. And if he does grow bigger, even though he's not a player who, scouts identify as having a lot of good natural defensive traits, we'll note that he's averaging over half a steal a game, actually leading APAC in that category. And he's been probably they're one of their better backcourt defenders this year. So I like Oliver West. For a APAC team that's going to graduate a lot of guys, Kai Newby, Victor Soto, Devin Fields, who I mentioned, JD Reyes, Son Chungu might be back for him. But Oliver West should be too, and I think he can be the leader of APAC next year.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who, do you really need to have him do a whole lot if you're Asia Pacific with Soto, Reyes, Newby, Fields, Deng? I mean,
Yeah,
they returned the majority of their core from last season that made a nice little run in the race to one in
yeah,
season one. Let's see how many times I can say
yeah.
one in one sentence.
No, but that's a
One.
great point to bring up. They finished that season strong, looking to do it again this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, again, they returned a lot. He wasn't going to get a whole lot of shine this season with the
no,
guys that they had returning.
no.
So I do think for next season, I mean, he's primed. Like you said, Sun Chungu may be returning here soon.
Yeah,
They have Leonardo Fields returning
yeah.
next season, and Oliver West. There's a possibility that the other Fields come back. They're injured right now. You never know what's going to happen with an injury. But right now, he's going to be one of the core guys coming back. And I'm sure Coach Goggins is going to have to
Yeah.
consider handing him the keys to that team.
I want to note about him too, a little bit like Cole Webb. He does get to the free throw line. 29 made free throws, and when he gets there, he's better than 90%. He's deadly when he gets to the stripe, and he's actually earned a lot of free points for APAC this season. So again, has more offensive potential than his 7.7 points per game this year really kind of indicate. And he was the first guy on my list. Who you got, Bob?
So I'm going to stick with a guard as well, and I'm going to go with Enzo Wolf of the North. I believe that he can be a pure, one of the top, if not the top, pure point guards in SimWorld Prep next season. He's got the ability to distribute the ball. He is athletic. I don't know who has that hit piece out there on him right now going around on social media, but I know that he's a solid player. But when you have kind of like APAC, when you have guys like Alex Rodriguez, you got the signing midseason of Zunda Mazaka, who has been a big part of this North offense.
Akeem
You
Young
added
too.
Akeem, you throw in Akeem Young. There's just not a whole lot, and he's underutilized, but he's not. He doesn't fall into this category returning next season. But someone even with Donovan Bird Culliver there, like Enzo Wolf, just isn't going to get a ton on the offensive side of the ball. But I do believe that whether he's with the North next season or not, I think that he is going to be one of the top distributors, one of the top playmakers in all of SimWorld Prep next season. He just doesn't have the opportunity this year because of all those other guys that he's sharing the court with.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. And look, I'm a big Enzo Wolf fan. I've talked about Enzo a lot in the Discord threads. I like his game. That said, I've been a fan since season one, but quite frankly, his season one was better than what he's put out this season. Definitely has regressed shooting the ball. Has some skills in that regard. There's definitely no question, but yeah, has really regressed under 30% shooting overall, down around 21 in terms of 3-point made this year. So really kind of needs to work on that part of his game because he is an excellent distributor. I think if he can work on that in the course of this offseason, come back and look to have a big return for the North next year. I like the pick, Bob. I was nodding my head when you were when you threw it out there. I was like, "Yep, I like that."
Well, I will.
But we get two. We get
Yeah,
two. So we got to agree in kumbaya over Enzo Wolf, the German point guard. But who's your second pick? Maybe I can find something to disagree with.
I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to have two players from the same
Uh-oh.
team. I'm going to go with Kel McKnight and Carter Cash at Gotham Five. I
Oh.
there I saw a lot from their game before the season started. I really thought Kel McKnight was going to be a star right from the beginning, kind of like a Kai Killens. It hasn't happened, but when you have Majer Williams and Muggan Williams there,
Yeah.
it's another thing. It's a young guy who's kind of stuck behind a couple of veterans who are going to take the majority of the offense away from them. But I think Kel McKnight and Carter Cash, the athleticism that they both have, and their ability to get to the hoop, I believe that when they're given the opportunity to really stand out on their own without having the other veteran stars there, I think that they both are going to really pick up their game and star next season.
Well, I hope so. They both definitely have had rough seasons this year, which have contributed to a rough overall 6-13 record for Gotham Five. Before the start of the season, I would have projected Carter Cash actually to be the more of the man between the two of them, him and McKnight anyway. But McKnight, in spite of the fact that he's not been remotely efficient, 37% from the field, 23% from three, is scoring, 9.3 points per game, playing 18 and a half minutes per contest. So, he has demonstrated his ability, to be a little bit of a volume scorer, if nothing else. But at 16 years old, 6'3", 170, already got a nice big frame for a guard that he may
Yeah.
grow into some more. I do like him, and I'm not. I'm not ready to call time on Carter Cash either. Even bigger at 6'5", right? And in some
Yeah.
ways, just a similar kind of season. Just hasn't been able to kind of get it done. But look,
Blame
this is
Jeff Michaels. Blame Jeff Michaels.
that's where you point to. Well, I was about to say this is a team sport, and it may just not kind of have gelled for those two guys, and certainly the talent is there. I think to bring it back next year. And can I go ahead and do a segue on that talent line, Bob? Is that cool with
Go
you?
ahead.
Because I get one more too. And if you want to bank on talent, I think this is the guy. I thought there was a chance you might throw him out there because I don't know. I see it when I call his games. You don't necessarily see it in his box scores and stats yet. Justin McGavin, number 66 on the originators.
Mm.
Coach Dodge has a what I think is a young gem in the making from Canada, actually from Vancouver. And he's playing this year, the 6'5 forward, a little under 18 minutes a game, just 3.9 points, couple rebounds, almost two assists. It's all fine. But he has shown glimpses of like top five, top 10 in prep in the league, shooting ability from deep. Kind of got a little mid range too. Again, has that 6'5 size, but can kind of play a big guard as well as a small forward. Is a little bit of a positional nightmare. The originators are obviously going to be losing a big chunk of their offense this coming year as Cooper Flagg
It's like
moves
every year,
on. Like every year, well,
and
like
they
to the
figure it
program he's
out.
going to in Duke, you just got to reload. That's right. And Coach Dodge has done a great job past couple seasons in terms of bringing in talent from outside. Wagner last year and Cooper Flagg this year, not from outside, but spending 1 year in the program to really kind of bolster it. But at the same time, has obviously had some returning players, which have been big for her too. Victoria Silgauskas coming back for a second season. This year is a great example. Justin McGavin, not terribly on anybody's radar, I don't think, right now. Just an important, a solid cog and a really good team. But next year, I think is going to take over a potentially huge role, and I think could be a real problem for Prep next year. He's kind of a little bit of a unicorn. What he can do with that kind of size he has, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Allen
McGavin.
Houston, Canada's Allen Houston is what I see in Justin McGavin.
I see McGavin as probably at the absolute worst, the number two player on that team next season. Um, he has shown a little bit here recently, but again, it's another one of those. And again, it's because of the younger kids uh, stuck behind a lot of talent. Cooper Flagg, he's going to take 700% of the shots on this team, and he's going to make probably
He
800% of them.
should, yeah,
You had Jay Laster come in,
and he should
who
probably shoot
was
more.
yeah, shoot a little bit more, Cooper. You had Jay Laster come in, who we
Yeah,
expected a lot more out of, but that was also before Cooper Flagg signed with the team. So
yep,
Jay Laster took a
yep,
little bit of a step back. So it was kind of there's a lot of hidden gems there. To Kadrian Walker the third,
yeah.
he has been very good. He didn't start to begin the season, but he is starting now. He's kind of stepped out. Christ coach, Jesus Christ. He's shown whenever he's been on the court.
Yeah,
St. Lamar, they have a
Caleb
lot of,
Boateng.
yeah, Caleb
Boateng.
Boateng. He's been solid for them too. The whole team, they have a bunch of, right now, it looks like a bunch of solid role players, but that's strictly because Cooper Flagg is just taking everything. Everybody looks like a role player next to Cooper Flagg. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think McGavin is going to take a huge leap next season under Coach Dodge, and I fully expect that. I know some people had compared him to Trey Turner before the season started. Specifically, Ron Yell had had compared him to Trey Turner, but we'll see if he can
That's
keep
a
up with
high
that.
mark.
It
Yeah.
is. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
got
I
to
don't know
leap
if
high
anybody
to.
else is going to shoot 152, make 152
Ooh,
threes in a season anytime soon.
my Lord,
um,
no, I would not expect that. Yeah, there are certain records I don't think are going to be broken, and Trey Turner, holder of a few of them.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of people probably thought that about Steph Curry. Steph Curry coming in, and
Sure.
who thought he'd break the 3-point record? What, 2.5 seasons in? I'm just kidding, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's
well, yeah.
shattering that record.
Yep,
So,
yep, yep.
but yeah, E, I I think we got a um, pretty solid
We got a good
four.
four.
Well,
We
five,
got a good
five. I guess.
four.
I guess I kind of went with. I cheated a little bit. Went
No.
with five, but
Oh well, fine. We got five. We got a roster we can throw out for next year. We'd feel pretty good about, I think, between our guys.
there we do. We do. Is there anything else that you want to say to the people on this fine Sunday morning? Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, somewhere it is. What I would say is, I don't mean to be a spoiler. I don't mean to ruin your whole weekend, but don't even bother to watch because Kentucky and South Carolina are rolling, rolling.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, E, as always. I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend.
Folks.